begin. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jamie Schenker-Presero. I am the Associate Director of Temple Small Business Development Center. We have helped small businesses start and grow for over 30 years. We are hosted by Temple University, and we are funded by the Small Business Administration. We are doing everything virtually now, including consulting and our webinars like this one. I'll post a link in the chat to our resource page, which has a list of our other upcoming webinars, as well as recordings of previous webinars and all of the resources that we're collecting related to business during COVID. You have joined us today for a webinar series that is intended to support small tourism and hospitality businesses as they navigate these unprecedented times as a result of COVID-19. By exploring topics related to operations, health and safety, marketing, risk management, contingency planning, and innovation, we hope to provide meaningful and relevant insight in relation to current small business issues to help you understand and respond to the changing landscape. This series is brought to you by the Center of Excellence for Hospitality Resilience, a joint initiative of Temple University's School of Sport, Tourism, and Hospitality Management and Temple Small Business Development Center. Today we have Yang and Christine Cleaver, and we're really excited for the presentation today. I know there was a really great response, so we know there is a lot of interest in this topic. So I will hand it over to, I believe, Yang first, who will kick it off.
I think Chris, she will briefly start, yeah.
Okay, all right, great. And just to reiterate, we have everyone on mute, but please feel free to use the chat box in the Q&A if you have any questions for our panelists today.
Thank you, Jamie. So we're super excited to take you through our presentation today. The session overview is Yang is going to do a social media overview of the different platforms and different things that you can do with them, as well as opportunities that they provide. And then we're going to take you through some examples and kind of, show you some different things, and then some tips and tricks to create some dynamic posts as we're going through this, because I know it's a little difficult and everyone's trying to figure out their strategy of where they should go and keep themselves relevant in the social media sector. So with that, I'm going to throw it over to Yang, and Yang, just cue me when I need to move your slides for you.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. So hi, everyone. This is Dr. Yang, Associate Professor from Temple University. So today I'm going to start the webinar by briefly talking about a general idea about social media marketing. So nowadays we are using social media channels to disseminate information and to get consumers involved. And we find that it's a very cost-effective channel to maintain a business and to conduct marketing. That's why a lot of small businesses are heavily embracing it. As we all know, there are different types of social media channels. And here I just listed some very popular ones: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Quora, Google, Reddit, and WhatsApp. If you are available, please share your best channel you have based on your experience, or the channel you're familiar with, on the chat box, so we can do some statistics on which channels are most popular among the small business in tourism and hospitality based on our audience. Okay, let's move on. Chris, can you please turn to the next slide? Okay, the one before, please. Yes. Some general tips, very, very general tips, how to do this social media marketing. The first one, very, very important, is to define the audience you want to reach. And keep in mind that this audience, the social media channel audience, may vary, may be different, depends on which social media you are using. LinkedIn, their audience is going to be very different from Facebook or Pinterest. And second, keep in mind that those people on the social media platform might be different from the actual population of your customers. So think about that very carefully. And that help you to better formulate your marketing strategy and your branding information. And second, to reach and engage your audience by a smart use of channels. Okay, so you can use more than one channel, but you still have to focus on one or two. And also, I think Chris will also mention that make sure that different channels are covering similar theme, similar topic. Or for example, in the presence of COVID-19, many channels are sending out information to help the customers in those quarantine life or stay at home life. Like restaurants are sending out information about the secret recipes. And the party organizers are sending out activity sheets for kids staying home. These are all the ways we can use social media platform to engage and stay relevant for the small business. The third point I want to emphasize is focus on the branding and personality to make sure the customers, those social media users can feel your brand is different and you want to send out the right information to the audience. And the last one, and I think very important one, think about the paid ads in social media channels. A lot of people say that, social media 100% free. It can be 100% free, but at the same time, they have some paid ads. You can pay some money to do more specifically targeted marketing. Okay, so later on I will cover that, and they are not expensive. For example, now LinkedIn, they are offering $50 to do the LinkedIn ads, and you can have a specific budget like $20, $30, $50, and there's no minimum for this media campaign, and their effect can be out of your imagination. It can be way exceeding your expectations. So think about the opportunity to use the paid ads in different social media channels. Of course, if you are really running a business seriously, think about registering the business account of the social media. Okay, Chris, please turn to the next slide. Okay, some other technical tips, how to do that by using different technicals and softwares. The first one is to measure the effectiveness of marketing. Most platforms, they have the analytic tools, which means they can show you the statistics about number of page views, number of engagement, number of followers, and how it changed over time and by different demographic or geographical attributes. This are very important, because by doing this, you can briefly evaluate the success or the effectiveness of every single posters or every single photos or every single campaigns through the social media channel. Put a very simple example based on these statistics, which is free, and you can see what is the best time to send out this message, whether it's 9 a.m. or 9 p.m., whether it's weekday or weekends. Of course, it depends on the customers you serve and depends on the business you are currently. And the second tip is like content marketing. I put like AIDA formula here. Like you have to focus on attention, interest, desire, and lastly, very important, action. You want to convert the social media followers to take action toward your business, no matter it's online or offline. The third tip, write like your customer talk. This is something I referred to as the personality in the previous slide. The last one, always study the best practice from the industry leader and your competitors. Don't be shy. And these social media channels are highly innovative. And every single day, there are some new ideas you can find which may greatly improve your effectiveness of marketing on social media platform. And finally, I want to see that probably a lot of you noticed there are some professional social media management software, and Chris will briefly talk about it later. So through this software, you can manage multiple social media accounts across different platforms in a single software, which is very cost effective, and it's not very expensive at all. Chris, can you please go to the next slide? How to make the content professional. These are two websites I use very often. One is called stocksnap.io. You can get beautiful free photos. And of course, they have free account, they have paid account. Even paid account is very affordable. The second one is marvelous. It's called Canva. Canva. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you folks have been using Canva for Instagram banner, Instagram infographics, and Facebook banners. And this is a fabulous website. It's super professional, super user-friendly. You can make the digital content, photos, and videos through this software. They have both free account and paid account. Even the paid account is it's less than $20 per month. It's extremely professional. And there are also many other websites. They provide similar functions. I know that different people may have different opinions. So please do me a favor, if you see any good website that you have used to make this professional content, please share with the audience on the chat box. Thank you. Chris, next slide, please. I choose the right channel. So I pulled out the statistics about the market share, number of users in the US market across different social media platforms. So like you can see that Facebook is the dominant player, followed by Instagram. And they also listed here Facebook Messenger as an independent social media. And sometimes of course, you want to take a look at, the potential user demographics of social media. And sometimes if you are really running into a niche, you want to think about, is there a specific alternative social media platform? It's not that popular, but really serve your niche market. Okay, next slide, please, Chris. Let's talk about 7 social media platforms that I really like one by one. The first one is, of course, the Facebook, the dominant player, the most famous digital marketing platform. And so I offer a little bit tips, a smart way to increase likes. And you can Google a lot of papers or, posters to increase your likes, like, share links, do a little bit tricks on the URL link of your page, something like that. And second one is like to approach and engage right audience by create these Facebook groups, which is very important. Customer engagement management, trying to send out right content and send out, do a lot of interesting things like send out coupons and lucky draws, something like that to engage customers. And also, I want to emphasize this thing called Facebook Insights, which is the photo in the picture on the right-hand side. This good Facebook Insights tells you the statistics about the performance on your Facebook account. I think it is free, and based on the statistics, this insight, you can get a better idea about who are your potential audience of this social media platform, Facebook, and what's the performance of your poster, of your content, and how this performance change over time, over different days, over different hours, so on and so forth. And finally, I would advocate this Facebook ads for local business. They have this amazing stuff called geo-targeting. So once you put location there, they will send out these ads to the customers on a radius, let's say 1 mile or 2 miles, you can define and send a message to them so they can get a better idea about your business. This is a very effective promotional strategy if you can use this Facebook ad. Of course, you have to pay for that, but I think the price is okay. Next slide, please, Chris. Okay, the YouTube. Now YouTube is getting more and more popular. And the first tip I want to give for the YouTube is to optimize your SEO, your search engine rankings. Make sure that if anyone search some keywords, your video or your account will be of a higher rank, so it can be easier to get access by the users. And you can use right tags. Okay, you can use more interesting title. There's a website called rabbittext.io, and by doing that, you can search the most popular tags that can bring the customer to your YouTube clips. And the second tip is like, content variety. You can do different types of content, entertaining, educational, storytelling, and sometimes even not directly related to your business, to your product, to your service, just for the purpose of engaging customers, you can try to diversify the content. And subscriber management, if you are using some third-party software, they have very, very effective subscriber management tools to make sure everyone get timely notice about your latest content. And the number 4, if you are really, really familiar with YouTube, you probably know that, is to use YouTube cards and end screens to make the content clickable. Okay, so once you did this, you can get a lot of traffic by these clicks, and creates a YouTube ad. So they have the ad function and some other useful tools to get the stats and to help you find the best tags, best titles. Like WayIDIQ is a Chrome tool. If you are using the Chrome web browser, you can install that. Another one is called TubeBuddy. And also the YouTube has its own analytics. It can show you how your video perform across different categories, like time, like, geographies. And next slide, please, Chris. So Twitter, of course, Twitter is also very, very popular. Go back to Twitter, please,
yep,
Chris.
Sorry.
Yeah, Twitter find the most appropriate hashtag, which is huge important. Okay, there are a lot of third-party tools can help you find popular hashtag and sometimes profitable hashtags as well. And the second one is Twitter polls. You can engage customers by doing more Twitter polls, and search to find the demand. Sometimes do the search. For example, if you are serving a particular area for particular type of service, you can search the web to see, is there any customer put a Twitter talking about specific question that you can answer, or anyone that might be your potential customers. Do the search to find the demand. And Twitter analytics and Twitter advertising, you can do the same thing to track the performance of your Twitter account and to do the paid ads. Like here, I put like the Twitter advertising 3 categories, like particular, I like the third one, Twitter ads targeting. Okay, so connect with your relevant audience, use Twitter's robust targeting capacity to get your business in front of your right audience. And also you can set the minimum amount, like $20, $30 to send out the message, and they are performance based. You will be only charged if the user click the link or leave any comments on your video. Next slide, please, Chris. Instagram getting more and more popular, especially for the younger generation, right? And the first tip is to optimize your Instagram bio and trying to be as innovative as possible, and follow the hashtags to get into the small community to find the potential demand, and also increase your visibility by follow some hashtags. Create Instagram stories. I'm pretty sure if you are a heavy Instagram user, you already done that. And review your Instagram analytics and promote your business, promote your account by this Instagram ads. So the right hand side photo shows you the functionality about Instagram ads, how they can approach people. They can approach the people by location, demographicals. And also very interesting, they are using some very fancy big data to identify the users by interests and by their behaviors. And sometimes you really need these very pivotal indicators to reach the right audience. So in this case, the Instagram ads can be an interesting tool you want to leverage to increase your market share. Next slide, please, Chris. LinkedIn. A lot of people think LinkedIn is just about personal employment things, but actually now it's growing more and more comprehensive. And to do an effective LinkedIn marketing, the first suggestion I want to give is do more than just a job title. Okay, and probably you will say, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner of blah, blah, blah. And you can put a long title, say something like, innovative business manager about blah, 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 and enthusiastic in blah, blah ideas for more than 30 or 40 years, to make sure that people can see this from the title. And inviting people to connect is always the key in LinkedIn to expand your social network. The smart way is to connect the second or even third connections. I know that that may require the paid version of LinkedIn, but there are some small tricks you can do to grow the second link connection to your network as well. And there are tons of tools, independent tools, help you to improve your LinkedIn marketing, like LinkedIn Sales Navigator, eLink Pro. And for example, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is on the right-hand side. It's an official tool from LinkedIn, and now it offers 30 days free trial. If you are really into LinkedIn marketing, I highly recommend you to start your free trial today. It's for free, and you can see whether this functionalities really fit your business and whether this promotional strategy work for your marketing plans or not. And now the LinkedIn offer a $50 credits if you want to leverage, and that's for free for everyone. Okay, the next slide, please, Chris. The Pinterest, okay, even though it's not that popular as Facebook, you can have less competition on Pinterest. And it's basically people are using boards to categorize the ideas, and it's proactive and bring ideas to life, and people are more active in taking actions to the social media accounts in Pinterest. So I put a website here, smartli.io. It has very good management tools for Pinterest. At the same time, they are doing other social media platforms as well, but I think this one is particularly good for Pinterest. And create a business account, reach people early, and inspire them to act. Next slide, please, Chris. Okay, the last one I want to talk about is about Quora, and many of you may not heard of before. It's a question and answer platform. So you are trying to answer the questions at the same time to expand your social network. So attract the business by answering the questions, right? So if you want to make your presence in Quora, right, to construct a strong credential portfolio on your bio and give detailed answer direct to your website to follow the most popular questions. You can find those hot questions and those questions of high visibility, and you can put your answer there to improve your visibility and identify question from most viewed riders, and that's a place you want to put your answer there. And also the Quora provide the function called Quora Analytics to show you the performance of your Quora activities. So next slide, please, Chris. So after that, I basically want to share some very simple examples about Facebook. You know, the Facebook example I want to show is this Roy's restaurants. And so they have doing many things during the COVID-19 period of time. The first one is like they're sending out the Roy's recipes series, many different types of recipes to the audience so they can try that. And once they opened, they are very interesting. They send out the chef's stories to make sure they get better idea about the chef. Even sometimes the customers can't see them. And once they open the business, they start, DoorDash delivery. They also put a lot of interesting things in about the DoorDash to make sure the potential users know that they have these functionalities. Next slide, please, Chris. The Pinterest examples. In the Pinterest, you can put a lot of beautiful, like this one called infographics about Philly to put the business location activities. And you can use Canva and other software to create these types of interesting posters. Next, please, Chris. And finally, Quora example, if you are not familiar with Quora, like these questions, like which are the best event management companies, high profile questions, you can provide answer there. And the other one is like, what is the best wedding idea you had from attending someone else's wedding? If you are a professional wedding planner, definitely you have a lot of things to see. And this is very popular and high profile questions. And providing your answer there, probably you can attract some local demand there. Okay, I think that's all for my part. So I'm going to turn the floor to Chris.
Thank you. So I'm going to go through some case studies and some Doable tips and tricks. I know many of you, well, all of you are small business, which means that you don't necessarily have a huge marketing staff or a marketing staff at all. So we're going to take you through different ways that you are able to actually accomplish a lot of these things. Yang gave us an awesome base, and we will share out to all of you all the resources that we're talking about today, so that you can investigate things to kind of, take your marketing a little further. But we do realize that, you've limited resources, so we're trying to provide to you the best things possible to get, the most return for yourselves. So informing is huge, and this is really, really, really important right now in the COVID environment. You need to, a lot of times ordering is not the same, or the way people pick things up, or the way people do things, it's not the same. I know the other day I had to return something to IKEA, and in my normal, thinking, oh, I have the receipt and I have the item, I'm just going to go in. That's not how it goes now. You go there, you're scanning a QR code, you're getting a spot in line. The lines are marked so that you're standing 6 feet apart from people. If I would have known that, it probably would have been a little bit, I would have felt a little bit better about the whole thing. Instead, I knew about it when I got there. So it's really important, if you have, a lot of you have reduced capacities at your restaurant or areas, how are you handling that? Are you doing, reservations in advance, or how's it going? What are off times that people could come and it's not going to be so crowded? So the more informing you can do, the better off you are. I've used this example a couple times throughout different talks I'm doing, but this is a stepped process as to how you're ordering something, or how things are happening. So showing that, and this is actually done in an Instagram story, so it actually happens and it flows through the story, really is very helpful for people, and they can see different things that are happening. The other thing is features. So and in a few minutes on a slide, I'm going to actually show you an extremely valuable, extremely cost-effective tool, and that is how a lot of people are doing these features. You're thinking, oh, I'm one person, I'm making the shakes, I'm doing this. How am I supposed to show how the shake is being poured? I'm going to give you how you do that. I also wanted to take you to this actual business's Instagram, because they're doing a really good job with their features. So their features that they are marking here, they have their menu, they have their shakes, the team, community, the tea, carry out, how you do all this. So besides, them actual featuring things, they're really, really, really doing a nice job of informing you of how things work, and everything's being funneled into one area. So when you actually go there, there's no longer handheld menus. You're scanning a QR code and it's taking you to their Instagram page, in which you can see their menu and all these things. So the more that you can inform people of how your practices are happening, the better off you are. And it also then gives you some additional engagement. Again, informing. So this was a virtual festival that happened. So when they every day, oh, sorry, I just hit on the wrong thing. Every day they went through and made sure you knew what was going on. So they educated you every day of what was happening those days, what was going on. What was really cool about this is they were able to educate you, but then they ran and they did, and this is a big thing too that you need to think about, is as Yang said, you need to know your audience and what platforms you're using, and making sure that you're posting different content to different platforms. Don't post the same thing, because people will catch on and they're going to get a little bored. You want to make sure that you're engaging folks per the platform. So this was great. They put the schedule out on Facebook. They were actually doing interviews. So it really, really worked very dynamically, their whole strategy on the different platforms, because many of these bands that were on here were across different age ranges and hit different people. this was, you know, cool too, because they were showing you kind of behind the scenes of how this all happened. How does a virtual event happen? You know, we're all kind of still trying to figure that out and navigate it. And this was, you know, behind the scenes, this was actually in a studio. So this is a music festival that happens outside all over city streets, and they actually had to have it, they took it inside and actually filmed it inside a studio. So it's a great behind the scenes way to show you kind of how it worked and how it was happening. They had, you know, different components too that, again, going back to the educative things, where you could actually go and be there on site to get food, but they wanted you to eat in your vehicle. Well, if you don't know that going in, it can, you know, kind of have a poor customer service feeling to it. So they were doing videos and walking, you know, someone walking, you know, behind them, ordering and then going to their vehicle. And this does not have to be this crazy overproduced thing. It can be something very, very basic. This is a huge one about connecting. So being able to connect the social media to the audience. This is a huge thing where people are not feeling connected anymore. So, and I keep getting this, and because I'm on the events end of things, it is hard. You know, the energy and the connection, you have to form that. So being able to form that connection really helps when you're moving forward. So these, and the reason, and I'm sorry, this is my garden, and I'm going to use some of my garden pictures because I wanted to show you pretty much kind of that anyone can do these things. So make your posts engaging, do challenges, trivia, gamification. So on the left, you have just my regular garden, but as you can see, underneath are some things that you could find. So you can send people on like a scavenger hunt. And Yang had alluded to this earlier. You know, one of the things that you want to be relevant with is your content. So, you know, if you're a zoo or if you're, you know, an attraction, you know, you can create a kind of a walking trail that people can do, or have you found the following things. It's a great way for people to engage with you, have an activity for families to do, because that's really important right now when people are kind of just still kind of sitting home. But then they're, you know, you're top of mind. Oh, you know what? The Philadelphia Zoo, you know, they produce this. You know what? When we're able to go back and visit, we're going to go back there first. So really good way to stay top of mind. But challenges are always fun. You know, do you know, you know, a week-long thing of maybe you're showcasing you know, a new attraction or something, and posting facts about it. People are looking forward to things like that. Trivia is always fun. I have a friend who posts food trivia every morning right now on Twitter. So, you know, did you know about the following, or where the following came from? You know, those are always really good things to engage people. So when this becomes that, sharing recipes and tips. So, you know, showing the ingredients and what it becomes. This is huge. People are cooking more at home. And, you know, the Doubletree released their Covenant cookie recipe during COVID, and Disney with the Dole Whip. So what are some things? What are some things from your area that you can feature? You know, what are some ways? You know, is it a mom's secret recipe? And even though you're putting the recipe out there, it's not being cooked in mom's pan, so it will not get exactly like mom's. But people will be really excited that you shared that. You know, can you have a cooking lesson in the kitchen with your chef? Can you show them how your front of house staff sets up your restaurant? You know, it's really important in the COVID time right now. It's really important that we in the tourism, hospitality, and event industry are kind of peeling back the curtain, and we're showing people behind the scenes. We never did that before. Behind the scenes was always, you know, people laugh, my family laughs at me because I dress in all black all the time. Just because I've always been behind the scenes. Well, people want to see behind the scenes now, because behind the scenes is forming a trust of how you're conducting business in the COVID time. So, you know, show them how you're doing things and show them your safety protocols and your procedures. People want to see that. They really do. And that's going to help them engage in other ways. As I said, showcasing safety and security. So this is pretty cool, and these are things that just happened in the last week. In England, they're actually testing out this whole new concert realm where you're on your own little platform. I was so unbelievably excited to see this because people are going to be back and be able to, they're testing it out. They're doing a whole study behind it to see if it's going to work, but this is great. I would go to this. This has a VIP feel to it. You're on a platform and you're able to check things out. So make sure you're showcasing it. Make sure you're interviewing folks as to how you came about this, what you did, what the protocols were, how people are going to be able to enjoy it. People come off of here, to go to the bathroom or something. How do they do that? What are the policies and procedures? And then on the right-hand side, this is happening at Citizens Bank Park now through Labor Day, where they're actually having drive-in concerts. So here you're actually able to, because everyone's seeing it, drive-in concert, is that going to be fun? And through all of Live Nation, Citizens Bank Parks, the City of Philadelphia's social media, they're all posting different things of how it's being handled, and people sitting in the back of their cars, or their head popping out of a Jeep. But this is a really awesome way to engage, and people want this. People want the energy of being on site. So the more you can showcase it, the more people are going to gain trust and want to actually come and ask some questions and be there. So this is the magical thing that I've been talking about, and it is so cost effective. It is a mini tripod that also is Bluetooth enabled, and you can use this particular tripod with your phone or an iPad. And the best part about this tripod, always get really super excited about this. It is $14.95, and as you can see right now, you can get this for I think $7. There's a coupon going on right now, which is so cool. This tripod, it can basically enable one person to be able to do this because it has the Bluetooth feature. So say that you're working, with your chef and you want to interview them. Well, with the Bluetooth, you can actually enable your phone to record and still be able to interact. So that's the beauty of this tripod. It's super small, but it's also very versatile. I'm going to show you some photos in a second of how versatile it can be. So you can hand hold it, you can use it in many different ways, but it definitely is very helpful. The other thing this thing does is it actually wraps around things. So in the one picture, I have it wrapped around area in my garden. So that pepper picture that I took just a few before this was actually taken with this. So I wanted to give you real life examples. The middle one is wrapped around my back patio fence, and you can take different photos of that. And then the other one is actually on my microwave in my kitchen, in which you can actually have it above the dish and be able to actually be recording it. Very, very, very easy. And you don't, with the Bluetooth, you don't actually have to even touch the phone. You can take photos. You can actually take a time lapse. You can take a video. Really, really, really easy to use and very cost effective. And the best part about the tripod then is it actually makes the video steady so that, it's not all over the place. I know I'm a mom. When I used to shoot the stuff with my daughter performing, or my daughter at soccer, and I'm doing it, with my hands, I'm excited and I'm moving and it's all over the place. Where with the tripod, it's super easy to do. And, this thing, you can put it multiple angles and be able to do other things. They do make larger ones. They also make, like a tripod that is actually the height of a person. Same type thing. I think that's in like the $30 range, and you can use your phone or iPad with that as well. But this one is really versatile, especially in small spaces if you're trying to, kind of record some different things.
Christine,
so yes.
Before you move on, we had a question about where you get the tripod.
So I ordered it off of Amazon. That's where I got the tripod, and I actually will put the tripod link in the references when we send out the white
Great.
paper, so everybody has it. And I have had this, I want to say, going on almost 2 years. It's the same exact one that I have linked in the presentation. And I have done really some very cool things with it with our students. It's super easy to use, and it is literally a little bit bigger than my phone. So, and it works with any type of smartphone. So management tools. This is, and Yang had talked about this earlier. Hootsuite and Sprouts are some of the best, and they're really good. And that way, you can actually, and I really, really, really encourage you to have a strategy with this. Yes, if something happens immediate and you put it up, that's great, because there's also an immediacy to social media, but you should have a strategy. You should really look at, I always suggest a 3-month strategy where you're kind of building up to things. Now, that's in a normal world. In COVID, you probably are a 2-week strategy because regulations and things are changing quickly. So with that, you want to look at, what you're doing, and you can actually program it into these systems so that you take an hour or two once a week and put it in these systems, so it's not taking up daily time all the time every day. So my just big kind of caveat and warning on that is just make sure that you're reviewing it on a weekly basis, because if some things have changed and you already have them preloaded, you want to make sure that you are keeping up with things. So definitely management tools. The other thing too is the management tools also have the analytics tied in, so you'll be able to review things. So each week when you're reviewing it, did that post make sense? Did it not make sense? So just different things that are happening. But you can to post in addition to things that you're posting in your strategy. Design. So Yang had talked earlier about Canva. I love Canva because Canva has all of the sizes correct. So they have the cover for Facebook. They have it all. You just type it in and it comes up, and you can use Canva. In the next slide, I'm going to touch on this, but I encourage you to use your own photos as much as possible, because you should be showcasing yourself. If you need to use a photo, just make sure it's one that has a proper copyright to it that you can use. But remember, the whole point of this is to showcase you and your business. So you want to make sure that you're using your photos. But Canva will even assist you in designs and the best way to do things. And so, but again, I also saw, I wrote this down, folks had said Adobe Spark and Pixabay. So any of the ones that you would put in there, I'll make sure that we're also putting in the references, so everybody has as many tools as many tools that are available to everyone. Content and email marketing. This is huge. We use MailChimp and Constant Contact for different things that we do, but there is again, a million different ones out there. This again is one that you can kind of preload. They're also really good with analytics and letting you know the best time to send things, and which sometimes always surprises me that it's like 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. I don't get that, but their analytics say that, and I know when I've used it, and 6 a.m. on Tuesday, all of a sudden people are buying and clicking. So they definitely have it down much better than guessing. Photos, I said this just a few minutes ago, use as many of your own as possible. Make them unique. They don't, again, it doesn't have to be picturesque quality. It can be down and dirty. People can, if you're featuring a chef and everybody's messy in the kitchen, that's fine. That's part of what people want to see. They want to see the magic of things. So, just make sure that, you're reviewing the photo if, things shouldn't be in the photo and for, things like that. Video features. So a lot of social media apps have video features like Boomerang and things like that. Check them out. They're not hard to use. If you're having issues, you can Google it, best way to boomerang, and it's going to give you the 10 tips to boomerang. A lot of the different features, I know right now TikTok's kind of, we're not really quite sure what's going to happen with that, but Instagram is really heavily pushing Reels right now. So just make sure you're checking them out and what's happening. And, so a lot of times, if it is a video, people will watch it longer, which means their engagement into you and your business is better. So, and you can do highlight videos as well. Next thing is conducting interviews and video features. With the tripod, you should be able to do that. And, talk to your front of house person, your guest relations person, the person who's greeting people. Hi, this is Mary. She's going to be the first person you see when you walk in. It gives everything a really humanistic side. And again, going back to right now, we need the engagement. We want the energy, and we want to engage with folks. And this is a way for people to do it if they're not actually there. So that is kind of the overview and some of the tips and tricks, but we gladly, would answer some questions and kind of give some insight into some things that, if there's any other things you have or, anything.
Excellent. Thanks, Christine. I've been answering some questions in the chat. But let's see what we got.
The other thing, Jamie, too, that I wanted to suggest is when it comes to video and also photos, use your community resources. So there is a ton of art schools, there's a ton of colleges. All of these students, they too right now need to gain experience because a lot of their experience has been taken away. So just because they're not existing right now. So reach out. You could maybe too have a student come help you and show you kind of 101 on things, or even assist you for a day, and that's a resume builder for them. So make sure you're thinking about that. Or a graphic design program. A lot of colleges have graphic design programs, and students need projects to work on. So make sure you use them as a resource as well.
Yeah, and I will add that we at the SBTC, actually, let's turn my camera back on. We typically get professors within different schools of Temple University reaching out to see if we have any clients for their student projects, their semester-long projects. So if you become a client, you're working with a consultant, and we pass these opportunities to consultants, and they go through their Rolodex of clients and say, oh, you know what, I do have a client who'd be perfect for that. So that's another good reason to work with us. Looks like there. And I think while we're waiting for questions, we can also mention the other resources that exist within the Center of Hospitality Resilience. So we have these webinars that we're offering fairly often, a few a month. So in the link that I just posted, you'll see links to upcoming webinars and recordings. But besides the training component, we also have one-on-one projects with the faculty and student groups who are in the School of Sports, Tourism, and Hospitality Management. So the first step would be to become a client of the FBTC, and then our consultants would assess whether it would make sense to connect you to that team. And you could work with these amazing faculty and their students on individual projects related to your restaurant or your tourism business. And that could include a deeper dive into your marketing campaign. It could include things also just like safety compliance. If you have a physical space, there's a lot of comprehensive work that they're offering, a lot of review of what you're doing and recommendations. So just wanted to mention that. Let's see. There's a question about having a panel with a few small businesses to share their tips. Great idea. That's definitely something we could consider. I'm going to post quickly the survey for today's webinar while I have all of you on the line.
And I did see a comment of, yes, I do realize there's a lot here. There's a lot within 1 hour, and it can be overwhelming. Take it in small bits. Don't feel like you need to go and tackle everything. Tackle one thing well at a time, and then go to the next platform. Take baby steps, and it's trial and error. It really is. So you're going to, look at things, just make sure using the analytics is really going to help you make very well educated decisions.
Yeah, and I would add, if you are feeling overwhelmed, I always think about maybe setting a night aside, maybe Sunday evenings, where you're tackling social media and you're scheduling out posts using either the Facebook scheduling tool that they have within their platform or something like Hootsuite. And I mentioned in the chat that I'll be delivering a Facebook basics, super basic. So if you're comfortable with Facebook, it might not be for you, but really basic on the 27th, where we'll talk about, if you don't know how to schedule a post, we'll definitely review that, for example. And then one question that I'd answered in the chat, but we can definitely discuss it in a little more detail. Someone was asking, what do you do? Is it worth doing all these things if you don't have a lot of followers? What strategies should you use to gain followers? And what should you do until you have a large base? My response in the chat was, you always have to start somewhere. Even with a few followers, you'll want to showcase dynamic content. An action item would be a Facebook ad for your page, as opposed to boosting a particular post. It would also be beneficial to focus on engagement, meaning commenting on, oh, I lost what I said, commenting on potential customers, current customers, other businesses in the area. Example, highlight a special that your neighbor business is offering and make sure to tag. That was my response, but I'm not sure if any of the panelists want to add to that very excellent and complex question.
Actually, yes. A couple things. One, make sure someone within your organization is your designated response person. So the one thing you want to be doing is responding as quickly as you can. That does not mean immediate. That means as quickly as you can, because people could be asking you questions that are very relevant. And what will happen a lot of time is when you answer, they will then tag someone else that may not be a follower in their response back to you, in which then that person automatically is fed your information. So you want to make sure you're responding. The other thing is too, if you're doing, I don't know, any of the contesting or a lot of it is word of mouth. So if you're, giving out the recipe or things like that, people are going to see that. And many times with the way the algorithms work, people will be kind of, your business will be showcased to them, especially too if you're gonna do some ads. So it, just like Jamie said, it's everybody has to start somewhere. So it will grow. The more you're putting into it, it's like a plant. It will grow. So sometimes sometimes you'll see that a leaf is dying and falling off, and you have to figure out a new strategy. So again, it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error. But the most dynamic you can make it, the better you can be.
Yes, I think Chris had very good comments on that. So I want to emphasize the importance of ads again, right? So if it's your first time, you can put like $20 to try those ads, like either YouTube ads or Facebook ads, try to see whether they really can reach your audience or not. And another one is that due to time limitation, today we did not cover something like, content management on TripAdvisor, on Yelp, and on the Google review website, because I think we are going to have a separate a webinar on that, those customer review website management. So in this video, we just purely focusing on the social media platforms, general social media platforms. So my advice is definitely try to use the ads functions, like start with a very small budget. Yeah.
There was a question about legal requirements for contests and giveaways.
So Jody, yes, I have a link that I can share out, and I will actually put that in the references for you so that everyone can see that.
Okay, I posted one that I just found too, but I'm sure the one you have is more up to date. Awesome. Looking to see if we have more questions. Again, please fill out the survey. I'll post it again. In the follow-up email, you will get a recording of this session and the white pages that our amazing panelists have put together summarizing, which have been super helpful. So you can look forward to that, and we'll also include a survey link again in case you didn't get a chance to do it today. It is crucial to continue our no-cost webinars like this one. And I think we may have answered all the questions for today. It was so great to have everyone join us. Thank you so much to our panelists for another great webinar. So many good tips. We're getting a lot of great feedback, so that's always good to see. Thanks, guys.
Andrea, we agree.